Welcome to Khali Yoga Center online. My name is Ian, and I'm working today with Lindsay.
Hey.
Yeah, and we are here to talk about Pigeon Pose, half pigeon and double pigeon. Eka Pada Rajakapotasana
Oh,
and Agni Stambhasana.
wow.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, let's start in half pigeon, Linz. So the traditional setup for half pigeon is one leg forward with the knee bent and one leg back with the leg straight. And from here, Lindsay's got her sacrum relatively level to the ground. This back leg is going straight back, and she's got the ball mound and the left big toe going straight back. Her right thigh is pointing straight forward out of the hip. And then the degree to which she moves her front shin forward or back is just going to depend on the expression she's looking for and the mobility in her hips. For some folks, like she's doing right now, tucking the foot in closer to this front hip is going to make the pose more accessible. Often when I do that, I feel it more in the front of my left hip flexors. And then as she shifts the foot forward, often that'll bring some more intensity to the outer right hip, the leg that's bent. And then her spine, you can see, is extending straight forward out of the pelvis. And she has her hands reaching forward with the arms down. Now, if it isn't possible to fold forward, you can also walk the hands back a bit, Linz, and you can lift up onto the elbows here. She can even bring her hands to the mat and lift her chest up. Now, a deeper expression, the king pigeon version of this, Lindsay can bend her back knee and reach back for her back foot. Then she can also hook it into the elbow, and let's see if this can happen. Can you get into mermaid, Linz? Yeah, so there's this bind available here. She reaches the upper arm back, so you can clasp the fingers, and then all this tension creates more opening in the chest, the shoulders, all working from the grounding of her hips.
Then there's a variation called king pigeon where my foot would go on the back of my head, but we're not doing that.
Not today. Next class, we like to say. Now, an alternative version of half pigeon, for some folks with knee joint issues, being like the pressure of being down on the ground doesn't work so well. So Linz, can you show the seated version first, and then we'll get into that. So for this like figure 4 type shape, Lindsay is crossing one shin over the opposite thigh, and then she's got a foot grounding her. Another point of foundation here is Lindsay's hips anchored into the earth, and then she's got her hands placed on the mat for added foundation. So this gives a ton of stability to the shape, and it allows the opening of the hip in a similar way to the traditional version of half pigeon. Now, to make this a bit more intense, Lindsay can press into her hands and then scoot your seat closer to your front heel. And then as she does that, she walks the hands in behind her again to reinforce the uprightness, the true north in her spine. And she can flex this front foot and press the right knee gently away from her. And that'll give the outer right hip some more intensity without the pressure of the knee on the ground, which for some people just is no bueno. Now she can also do this same shape on her back in a reclined version. Ta-da! So she's going to keep, you want to do the opposite leg?
Yeah.
Perfect. So she can keep that same shape of the figure 4 kind of crossed over, one shin over the opposite thigh. And now for some folks, this reclined version is going to be enough. Like this can be pretty powerful and intense on the hips. If she wants to take this deeper, she can lift that bottom foot off the ground, and then she's going to thread one hand through the hole that her legs make, and she can either hold her hands on top of her shin like this and pull in, or she can grip behind her back thigh and pull in that way. Now, as she pulls in with her hands and her leg, she's also flexing this foot and gently pressing the knee away from her. And this allows a lot of the similar stretch and opening in the shape with a more easeful expression as she's reclined, and there's not as much effort in the foundation and the stabilizing of the shape, so she can just breathe and be easy here. So for double pigeon, Agni Stambhasana it translates to fire log pose. And one way I see that is like the shins are stacking like fire logs. And it can get pretty fiery in the hips. Pretty intense. So the foundation of the pose here is Lindsay's seat. Her sits bones are on the ground, anchoring her into the earth. She's got the bottom shin and the top shin both relatively parallel to the top of the mat. And then her feet are just slightly outside of the knees. Now, Lynn, show it with, often we'll see folks come into this shape and their feet will be tucked on the insides of the knees. And what this is doing is the thighs are now pointing out on diagonals to the sides. And it also often adds, you can see Lindsay's front foot, this is kind of like sickling the foot in and adding more tension to the outer part of the ankle and the foot. So she crosses her legs to more. This affects a straightforward alignment of her thighs. So now, like in Tadasana, her thighs are in line with her hips, and then the external rotation of the thighs comes from this crossing of the shins. So now her thighs are aligned, feet are flexed, and if possible, she can fold forward to any degree. Now, Lindsay's pretty open here, so she can fold all the way forward over the legs. Sometimes to add even more intensity when folding forward, I'll hook my elbows and my triceps on the front of the shins and create some tractioning, like she's pulling her rib cage away from her hips to extend out. Now, Lynn, show this to the side and show the forward fold with more rounding in the spine. Often folks will like collapse the rounding of the spine in an effort to fold deeper into the shape. And what we're looking for in this pose and pretty much all of the poses is elongation of the spine line. So instead of curving and rounding the spine forward to get down, Lindsay's extending from the base of the spine, the tailbone, all the way out through the length of her neck and the crown of the head. All right, good work, Lindsay.
Thanks, Ian.
Thanks for joining us for half pigeon and double pigeon. Like and subscribe, and we will see you on the mat.
Bye, y'all.
See ya.